Jeter when he was caught in the neutral zone. Irvin broke this one up. Duper, the intended receiver. What does that motion of Marino mean to his wide receiver?
Well, I think he was trying to tell Mark Duper in the corner of the end zone that that's where he should have gone with the football. One of the problems with having a very strong arm is that you try to force the ball inside. Here, Irvin breaks on the ball in front of Duper. He really wasn't open. Cromwell was coming over from one side, but it seemed that they broke on the ball and that Clayton was open in the corner of the end zone. That's what he was saying. I should have gone to you with the ball.
Marino has completed 4 of 5 for 57 yards. It's 2nd and 10 at the Rams 23. No score in the ball game. The give is to the second back, Hampton. Hampton fights his way to the 10-yard line, past the 10 to the 9. He'll pick up 14 yards and the first down. It's first down and goal to go. The strong safety, Nolan Cromwell, makes the tackle.
Well, this is what a Marino does to you. The Dolphins, it's no mystery, do not run the football very well. They've had some inconsistent play on their offensive line. But when Marino's back there throwing the football, the holes seem to open up like magic. People are more worried about dropping back into their zone as the Rams play off, and that allowed Hampton to get inside and pick up a big first down.
So it is first down and goal to go at the 9-yard line. And Hampton is stuffed. He is hit at the 10, but manages to get back to the line of scrimmage. Mike Wiltshire and Reggie Doss met him right at the 10-yard line, but he may have even picked up a yard. It's going to be second down and goal to go.
Buffalo 14.
Mel Owens is the injured player, and we have an injury timeout. Stopping the clock with 5:35. That is the time remaining. We're in the first quarter. We have no score between. Miami off to a strong start. The receivers are looking good.
They are, but they're playing a game they don't usually like to play. Mark Duper and Clayton like to go that deep stuff with all the speed they have, but the Ram zones are forcing them to run the underneath pattern, and they're going to take a couple of hits out there this afternoon, especially from people like Jerry Gray.
And Marino is sharp.
He's sharp. He's his 4th year, and he is looking good. Everett, on the other hand, has been sacked twice, and I think it's been because he's been confused with what the Dolphins are doing in the secondary.
So is it possible? Can Miami pull off the upset?
I think it's going to be very difficult for him, Charlie, but you never know.
All right, well, at least you're honest about it. Here's the situation. We have no score. Miami threatening second down, goal to go. The ball at the 8-yard line. Kevin Green came in to replace Mel Owens, who is the injured player. He came out for the one play at lead. Hampton goes in motion. Marino back to throw. And it is incomplete. Bruce Hardy, the tight end, the intended receiver, Carl Eckert, had the coverage. It's going to be third down and goal to go. And let's check out the scores. Cleveland defeating Cincinnati by a score of 34-3, a big win. So Cleveland, the division champion. San Francisco, as you saw, defeating New England by a score of 29-24, which means, of course, that the Rams here have to win the division. And we'll check up with those other scores, because there's almost a story on each score. So the next time we'll go through them a little slower to orient you in what's going on. Third down and goal to go from the shotgun. Here's Marino. With time, he throws, tipped away. Is it caught? No, it is intercepted in the end zone. The ball was in the air. The Rams come down with it. Vince Newsom just kind of hanging around, picked up the interception. I believe it was Jerry Gray who tipped it. So 2 turnovers. The Rams with a fumble recovery and now an interception. We'll be back in just a moment. We have no score between Miami and the Rams.
The reception. The 2 receivers are going to go down, and they're going to try and get a pick. This one is going to come to the inside, but you're going to see about 4 Ram defenders right in the area where the ball is going to be thrown. One receiver breaks to the inside. Now the other one comes to the hook area. Now there's 3 receivers right there. 2 more come and get the deflection, and it's an interception in the end zone. Ball's on the 20.
For Vince Newsom, that is his 2nd interception of the year. For the Rams, they're 27th on the season. And a first down for Los Angeles on their own 20. So a fumble recovery at the Ram 18. And interception in the Ram end zone. Little play action and then the quick screen to the left side to Ellard. And Ellard is out to the 25, maybe the 26-yard line, where Mike Brown makes the tackle. Now let's go back to the scores. Philadelphia defeats Dallas 23-21, and that means that the Cowboys are eliminated. And it also means that Dallas this year could come up. The record is now 7-8. They could have their first losing season since 1964. That's a possibility, of course. They still have another game to go as Dickerson gets the call. And he has a couple of yards. It's going to be 3rd down and 2 as Larry Kolick, the rookie from Ohio State, in his first NFL start and first NFL game, makes the tackle. New Orleans defeats Atlanta, and Green Bay downs Tampa Bay. Those are both finals, and that Atlanta's does New Orleans still have a possibility of a wild card?
I'm not sure, but I'm interested with the Tampa Bay score, because Tampa Bay now with an even record with Indianapolis, because they come up with a win. They may lose. Vinny Testaverde will come down to the final week of the season.
Now these are the games just getting underway with this one. Kansas City in front of the Raiders very quickly. Seattle in front of San Diego very quickly. And here we have no score. Dickerson first down to the 33-yard line. First down of the ball game for the Rams, and it comes with just under 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Bud Brown made the stop.
And Dickerson was one step away, actually a tearaway jersey away from breaking that for a score. Bud Brown, number 43, with the saving tackle.
In that Kansas City Raiders game that you saw, the Chiefs out in front very quickly. If the Chiefs win, that means that the Jets are in the playoffs. Just an early note, and there's so many notes on the games today. Little play action fake by Everett. Has protection, passes complete. 45-yard line, gain of 12. It'll be a back-to-back first down. As Benet Thompson makes the tackle, Eller the reception. Let's go to Bob Costas.
Charlie, in one of those games earlier today, the Giants go to 13-2 with a 27-7 win at home against the Cardinals. 3 touchdowns for Joe Morris, and also runs from scrimmage of 56, that's this one, and 49 yards. With better than 1,400 yards for the season, he's second only to Dickerson in the entire league.
And Bob, I'm so glad that you and your crack staff are there to sort all this out at halftime, to explain exactly where everybody is. Here's Dickerson. And he's going to pick up just a yard to the 46. It's going to be 2nd down and 9 as Glenn Blackwood led the defense for the Miami Dolphins, and Bob Baumhauer was also there. Jimmy, what is Miami doing differently defensively to stop the Rams?
Well, they're coming in with a 5 linebacker set. They're taking out the strong safety, inserting Jackie Shipp, another linebacker, and they are going to try and force the Rams to win on the arm of Everett instead of letting Dickerson beat the Dolphins with their running attack. The Dolphins, of course, 27th in the entire NFL against the rush, and so they're going to try to shut that down. If the Rams are going to do it, it's going to be on the arm of Jim Everett.
When we talked to Don Shula yesterday, he was talking about the Rams. I said, can you beat them? He said, well, of course we can. We have to do some things, but we can beat them. And the pass is incomplete, deep along the far side to Kevin House. Blackwood and Judson were in the area. It's going to be 3rd down and 9, back at the 46-yard line. And there wasn't any doubt in the statement of Don Shula that they could win today.
Well,
he's very positive force.
There's a possibility the Dolphins could also wind up with a losing season this year, and they haven't had that happen. In fact, Don Shula's gone 23 years with only 1 losing season. That in 1976 when he finished at 6-8.
3 wide receivers for the Rams. No score. 1:29. That is the time remaining first quarter. Everett from the shotgun, and House shows motion. Everett can scramble for it, and he's got the first down. Slides at the 40-yard line of Miami. He picks up 14. And the first down. Blackwood and Rose are there to cover it. Here's Bob Friesen.
Charlie, the Dolphins in man-to-man coverage, and when you go to man-to-man coverage, that leaves no one to cover Everett. This man's going to blitz right here. The receivers are going to cross, and when you end up, there'll be nobody in the middle of the field. Let's take a look. Watch the center of the field. All the Dolphins are busy covering someone. Now let's stop it right here if you can. Look at the middle of the field. Nobody is there covering the quarterback.
We're back to live coverage. A handoff to Eric Dickerson. This time there was somebody in the middle of the field. It was Bob Baumhauer who made the tackle along with George Little. We'll give him a couple of yards to the 38. It's going to be 2nd down and 8 as the Rams now, Jimmy, started this drive at their own 20. This is the 9th play of the drive coming. And they're now at the 38-yard line of Miami. This is really the first offensive thrust of Los Angeles.
Well, that's an overpowering offensive line they have there. They had 4 people in the Pro Bowl last year from this offensive line. Of course, Cahill now traded away, but they're going to grind down. They're trying to grind down the Dolphins defense.
Everett, a little play action. He goes deep over the middle. It is caught at the 20. Henry Ellard pulls it down at the 18-yard line, and a gain of 20. First down. Bud Brown with the tackle. Jim Everett looking good.
Let's take a look at Bud Brown. Now, he's playing in combination with a quarterback. He's got to take Ellard as he comes across his face, but it's the strong arm of Everett that gets the ball in between Brown and the linebacking crew of the Dolphins.
And that is the end of the first quarter. We have no score. The Rams are on the move. We'll be back in a moment. It's been Eric Dickerson who's been the offensive weapon of the Rams. Now the young quarterback, Jim Everett, with his fourth start, the rookie out of Purdue, and he has added a separate dimension to the offense of the Rams and has taken some of the weariness away from Dickerson. We'll be talking about that. Here he comes. He hits Ellard inside the 5. Picks up 14 to be first down and goal to go. Everett now 4 of 6. All to Ellard. Brown and Judson with the tackle.
And this is just the strength of the arm of Everett. He looks exactly at the wide receiver. He wasn't going to fool anybody. He knew he wanted Ellard right away. In fact, Ellard has caught 3 of the 5 touchdown passes that Jim Everett has thrown.
Rams with 2 tight ends. First down and goal to go. They mark it at the 5. And here's Dickerson. And he just keeps coming. He fumbles. It's in the end zone. It is kicked. It is recovered by the Rams. It's going to be a Ram touchdown. Tom Newberry, the rookie from Wisconsin La Crosse. Needless to say, NFL touchdown.
But watch the strength of Dickerson. That's what gets it done. He's hit once, twice, a third time. That's John Offerdahl, number 56, leaning for the end zone. Judson just hopped in right at the end, and then it is Newberry who gets his first NFL touchdown like a kid coming down for Christmas morning with the present right at the edge of the tree.
Dills to hold. Lansford to attempt the point after. Mike McDonald, an excellent long snapper. It's good. And the Rams have the lead over the Dolphins, 7-0, with 14:15 left to go, first half.
The time right.
And the Rams have now moved out in front by a score of 7-0, an 80-yard drive in 11 plays, and on that drive, young quarterback Jim Everett completed 4 passes, all to Henry Ellard. Now, the deep backs on the return are number 33, Craig Ellis, and Mike Kozlowski is also back with him. And Mike Lansford will be kicking off. And they're setting it up. They want Ellis to make the return. And it goes into the end zone. They're going to say that it went out of bounds before. Are they going to say it went out of bounds or no? If it crossed the goal line, then went out of bounds, they're going to rule a touchback to bring it out to the 20-yard line. Ellis wanted him to kick over again. That's going to be the call.
Charlie, let's go back to that last play. Here is the guard, Tom Newberry, who recovered the fumble. He's going to come down, make a great block for Dickerson. Dickerson's going to go into the end zone. And like I say, it's only fitting that Newberry recovers the touchdown because he makes the key block and a nice run by Dickerson.
Miami with the ball, first down at the 20, and Marino is back to throw. And he goes to Bruce Hardy, the tight end, and Hardy leans to the 26-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 4. Mel Owens with the tackle. He's back in the game. Let's go to New York. Bob? Here, the playoff picture as far as the Rams are concerned is that with San Francisco winning early today, 29-24 over New England. And the Rams need to win today. If they win today, they are the division champions. If not, it'll come down to Friday night's game against San Francisco. Marino goes deep, far side, and he overthrows his intended receiver, Mark Clayton. So it will be 3rd down and 4. Back at the 26 is Leroy Irvin. Has the coverage, and let's check the scoreboard. Kansas City, these are the games in progress. Kansas City quickly in front of the Raiders. Seattle quickly in front of San Diego. And Houston leading Minnesota by a score of 3-0. Houston, as you know, is out. Minnesota must win today to have any kind of a possibility. Seattle needs to win today to have any kind of a possibility. You get in those areas now where you need help from other teams just to see what happens for it all to be sorted out. Marino has completed 5 of 9 for for 63 yards. But an interception in the end zone and a fumble recovered by the Rams on their own 18-yard line have turned the game around for Los Angeles. They lead 7-0. Contact is made by the Rams. They're going to claim movement in the offensive line. Here's Red Casher. There was no movement. The ball will go to the 31. It'll be a first down.
Offsides. Number 98 on the defense. First down.
Sean Miller made the contact. Ron Davenport comes into the offensive set as Hampton comes out. Back to Marino. Has a man running free. If he hits him, it's Duper. It'll be 6. Mark Duper, 69 yards. Touchdown, Miami. And for Mark Duper, that is his 9th touchdown of the year. And for Dan Marino, that is his 37th touchdown pass. And he got behind Leroy Irvin.
Well, the Rams bid on it. It's not often that the Dolphins mount a running attack. The strong safety and the weak safety apparently bid on the run fake and allowed Duper to get behind them for the touchdown. Bob will take a look at it with a telestrator in just a minute.
Juan Revade to attempt the tying extra point struck with the hold. It is up, and it is good. Larry Lee with the perfect snap. And there's Marino. He's done it again. We're tied at 7.
It's a
motion that causes the safeties to rotate. Now, with the play action down this way, this safety doesn't get back. He comes up for the play fake. Now, watch the motion as he comes across. The two safeties. Now, Newsome, who was supposed to be deep, comes up for the play action. And by that time, it's too late. The play action fooled them. They had that plan coming in. There's no question about that.
So we are tied at 7-7. Juan Revades kicking off with Mickey Sutton and Charles White. The deep backs on the return. Here is Mickey Sutton, and he's going to bring it out of the end zone. He's to the 15 and brings it out to the 21-yard line. So he'll have 22 yards on the return.
Let's take a look at it from the ground level. Now, here's the fake. It goes to Lorenzo Hampton. That is Ron Davenport. About that time, Vince Newsome, number 22, bid on it. He was the safety, and Irvin gets beat as well. There you see Duper going right past 47 Irvin. The book on the defensive backs of the Rams is that they stare into the backfield, and as Bob mentioned, that's the type of thing you pick up watching film from a previous week.
And Bob's got another comment. We'll have that right after this play. That play, by the way, the longest offensive play against the Rams this season. Now it's first down from the 21. And they come back with Dickerson. And he's to the 27-yard line. So Eric picks up 6. It'll be second down and 4, Bob.
Charlie, you know, coming out here, the Rams have 4 strong safeties. They have Timmy Fox, Johnny Johnson, Vince Newsome, and Nolan Cromwell. Their policy the last few weeks has been to rotate those safeties by quarters. And in doing that, sometimes they don't get the feel of the game. And that time, the safeties that were in there weren't in there in the first quarter, so it was a little new to them.
Second down and 4. The ball at the 27-yard line. Here's Dickerson, and he leans to the 30, so he picks up 3. It's going to be third down and 1. Dickerson, as you know, the leading rusher in the National Football League, coming into the game with 1,629 yards. 10 times this season, he has rushed for more than 100 yards. He's already picked up 36 yards in this ball game. He has been averaging this season 25-plus carries a game. That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. He's also just averaging 113 yards per game for every game he's played in as a professional. Only one back has ever done that before, over 100 yards, and that's Jimmy Brown.
And here is Dickerson again, and he's out to the 32-yard line. He needed a yard for the first down, and I believe that he got it as William Judson makes the tackle.
William Judson makes the stop.
And the crowd reaction, Kansas City romping over the Los Angeles Raiders here in town at the Coliseum. Now 17-0 in the second quarter.
Apparently that 37-0 beating at the hands of the Seattle Seahawks last Monday has a carryover in the Coliseum this afternoon.
Charles White checks into the offensive set. Los Angeles Rams as Dickerson is out for a breather. Tim Terrell and Charles White are the 2 running backs. And Everett's to throw. He goes deep, far side, and he overthrows his intended receiver, Kevin House. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 back at the 32-yard line. Now, Dickerson out just for a breather. But one of the things that this young man, Jim Everett, brings to the offense of the Rams is to take some of the pressure away from Eric Dickerson. We were talking with John Robinson yesterday, Jimmy, and he told us that now Dickerson doesn't feel like it's all on his shoulders. He says, in the past, I've looked at him and said, our defense will hold him. You've got to win. And he's one of those again.
Well, it'll probably extend his career. The 5 linebacker formation that the Dolphins had inside will go away as Everett continues to become a better quarterback.
2nd down and 10. Everett to throw. Goes both backs in. Goes deep. It is tipped. It is incomplete. Ellard, the intended receiver, William Judson, with excellent coverage. It'll be 3rd down and 10 back at the 32-yard line. Bob Greasy, you've had a chance now to see a little of Jim Everett. He's from your alma mater, Purdue. How does he look to you as a quarterback?
I'm impressed with him, Charlie. He was a little unsettled starting. He needs to learn to throw the football away. But this throw was pretty much on the money, just good coverage. And as you've mentioned, to take a lot of pressure off of Dickerson.
Yeah, that was a mistake on the part of Henry Ellard. He never gave any move to the defensive back and actually just turned it into a foot race, which is always a losing effort for a wide receiver against the defensive back.
3rd down and 10, throwing to Dickerson underneath the coverage, and he does it all. He's to the 45, 13 yards. 1st down Rams. David Fry and Don McNeil with the tackle. And Dickerson does not get hurt. He plays a lot and he doesn't get hurt.
Oh, he's very durable, and he does more than just run with the football. He's also an excellent blocker. They don't call on him to block very often, but he's a very capable blocker. And as you saw with those statistics, a very good receiver. He is 2nd on the team coming in today's action with 23 catches.
1st down for the Rams at their own 45-yard line. And here is Dickerson, fumble. The Miami Dolphins have the ball. Larry Kolick in his first NFL game recovers the fumble.
This is Glenn Blackwood all the way. He's on the strong side. There he is, blitzing from the outside position from the strong safety spot. He hit Dickerson just as he was receiving the football. That's why it was coughed up, allowing Kolick to get it and turn upfield for the Dolphins.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Pulling these 2 linemen, they didn't account for Glenn Blackwood, the safety right here, blitzing into the backfield. And as soon as Dickerson gets the ball, Blackwood hits him and causes the fumble. One of the ways the Dolphins are trying to stop the running game of the Rams is using Glenn Blackwood on a safety blitz.
And there's Glenn Blackwood, the man who caused it, Larry Kolick. The rookie from Ohio State, taken in the 7th round of the draft, recovered it. The ball at the Rams 39, and the give is to Davenport. And he's to the 31-yard line. So he'll pick up 8 on the play. It's going to be 2nd down and a couple as Carl Eckert makes the tackle. And let's check the games in progress. Kansas City, remember a moment ago they were leading 17-0? Well, that's what they led the Raiders in that first ball game. And then the Raiders came back to beat them 24-17. Now the Raiders are coming back again by a like score. Seattle in front of San Diego and Minnesota in front of Houston 7-3. Second down. Lorenzo Hampton to the 30-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd down and 1. I'm surprised that Marino didn't come up on top immediately to the end zone.
Yeah, I'm very surprised, too, with the 2nd and 3 yards to go. That's Marino territory, especially that close in. The Dolphins, as I mentioned before, no secret, have trouble with the running attack. There you see Chuck Studley, the defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins, working with the linebacking crew, trying to get things ready to go.
3rd down and 1. The ball just outside the 30. Actually, it's about 1.5 yards to go for the 1st down. And here is Hampton with the 1st down. And did you notice how he was guarding the football? He did not want to fumble. I think that was the first thing on his mind. Johnny Johnson chased him out.
Well, what he does, if he hangs on to the football, he allows Fuad Ruiz to come in and try a field goal. Don't give it up at all. And you're right, he's cradling it there. But the Rams have trouble with containment. That's Mello and number 58 on the outside, trying to contain the outside of the formation. He does not get it done, allowing Hampton to get around the corner for the first down.
Now it's a first down at the 23. Hampton 35 yards in 8 carries. Miami trying to capitalize on the turnover as Kolek recovered the fumble. Marino fires far side. It is there. Duper, he is out at the 17-yard line. So he has 6. It's going to be second down and 4. No, that was Clayton, excuse me. Clayton with his goggles. Notice the goggles where they're not prescription, because Dickerson's goggles aren't prescription. But Clayton wears contact lenses under the goggles. Doesn't want to wear the goggles because it bothers his peripheral vision.
So he just wears the contacts.
Wears the contacts.
Protects the contacts with the glasses on the outside.
Yeah. Second down, Marino. Timing pattern in the corner, and he overthrows his intended receiver, Mark Clayton. Jerry Gray was the man that Clayton got behind. It's going to be third down.
That's the second time the Dolphins have gone to that play. Last week against the Cowboys, Leroy Irvin intercepted a pass, went 50 yards for a touchdown. As I mentioned earlier, the defensive backs like to look into the backfield. So the Dolphins have come up with this offense whereby the receiver will go downfield, stutter at about 5 yards. Marino will pump fake, and then he'll go to the corner of the end zone to try to feather the ball in. Irvin and Gray being tested here this afternoon.
Who's going to be the first quarterback to go to the dark glasses or the goggles for the secondary looking in at their eyes? Bob Greasy was. That's right. They couldn't look in anymore. Third down and 4. 6 in the secondary. Short shotgun. It is there. First down. 8-yard line. Nat Moore on the receiving end. It'll be first down and goal to go. The all-time leading Dolphin receiver. Minutes, 10 seconds and counting. That is the time remaining in the second quarter. Marino already has thrown for 147 yards, 8 of 13, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Davenport, a yard, that is it. It's going to be second down and goal to go. Mark Giroux with the tackle. I almost feel that the Dolphins want to take as much time on offense as possible, keeping the offense of the Rams off the field. I do know that John Robinson, the head coach of the Rams, said they want to take a lot of time with their offense on the field. They want to keep Marino off of
Well, I think that's the Rams' point of view, yes, that they're going to try to run the football as much as they can to keep Marino on the bench instead of giving him 12 opportunities in a football game. Cut it down to 9 or 8 and reduce the possibility of him scoring.
But it looks as if Miami is doing the same, running a lot more in these situations. This one is incomplete, knocked away by Doug Reed. It'll be third down and goal to go. I just had the impression that Miami's running more than throwing.
But I don't think so. They've always gone into a contest thinking, every team does, try to establish a running attack. It'll help the offensive game plan overall. Despite the fact that Marino was #1 in throwing in the NFL, he would probably be a even much better quarterback had they a running game. It's the same situation the Rams have, with Dickerson as the great runner, and now Everett taking some of the heat off. Marino needs a running back and an offensive line to take the heat off his arm.
Third down, goal to go. He drills it into the corner. It is there. Touchdown. James Pruitt. Pruitt's third touchdown of the year and Marino's 38th touchdown pass. They beat Jerry Gray.
The Rams are one of the few teams in the NFL that will play zone all over the field inside the 5-yard line. It really doesn't matter. This is all on strength and looking away. Marino looked to the left, then came back, caught Gray napping, looking back into the backfield, looking away from it, and James Pruitt was allowed to get to the corner of the end zone. With the strength of Marino's arm, he beat Gray. You've got to stay close to a receiver when someone like Marino's on the field.
Lee with the snap, Strock with the hold. Reves has it. And the Dolphins lead the Rams 14-7. Now with 7-11, the magic number left in the first half. James Pruitt with his touchdown reception, a rookie taken in the 4th round of the draft. Played his collegiate ball at Cal State Fullerton. That's just about 10 minutes up the freeway from Anaheim Stadium, where we're located today, the home of the Los Angeles Rams. Juan Revés will be kicking off with Charles White and Mickey Sutton. The deep backs on the return. The Dolphins have the lead, 14-7. Time in the ball game that Miami has led. This will be down in the end zone by Mickey Sutton. We'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. We've got a little pushing and shoving at the 17, out of the 20. And I think this will be broken up. We can go to the telestrator and Bob Greasy.
Charlie, we'll go back to the last touchdown. Here's Pruitt right here. Now, Pruitt is a rookie playing his first year. The Rams know this, too. He's going to run a little short out. The Rams do a lot of studying. Now, if we can stop it right here, you can see the double coverage on Nat Moore, double coverage on Duper and Clayton, and the only man with single coverage is Pruitt in the corner of the end zone, and he's the man that Marino finds for the touchdown.
And Miami has the lead 14-7, and the Rams have the ball at their own 20, and they come out throwing. Here's Everett, steps forward and overthrows David Hill, or underthrows Henry Eller. And it'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 20. Game's in progress. It is still Kansas City leading the Raiders 17-7. The Seattle-San Diego score hasn't changed, nor has the Minnesota-Houston score. That's 7 points for the Los Angeles Raiders. Here's a note: they gave up 60 consecutive points before scoring today. Here's the screen. It is dropped. Dickerson could not pull it in. And it's going to be 3rd down and 10 at the 20-yard line. John Offerdahl was there for the Miami Dolphins.
Dickerson one more time. They want to go to the screen to loosen up the defense of the Dolphins. Just a little bit overthrown, but it seemed that Dickerson should have been able to pull that one in. He had a lot of blocking downfield, a couple of linemen out in front. He might have been able to pick up 10 or 12 yards had he been able to catch the football.
Here's a look at the quarterback comparison. Marino 9 of 15, 153 yards. Everett 5 of 11, only 64. Marino with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. 3rd down and 10. This is dropped. The tight end, who has only 3 receptions this year, should have had his 4th. David Fry and Mike Kozlowski were there. And we'll see the 3rd punt of Dale Hatcher in a moment.
He's long all the way down. Now he's got to worry coming across the middle of a linebacker or a safety. That's Mike Kozlowski, number 40, making the hit. Toughest catch for a wide receiver, though, coming inside, knowing that there not only is safety in there, but a linebacker from the other side waiting for you to turn backwards.
Hatcher, there's pressure. It's a short kick. Ellis will stay away from it. It's going to be down at the 45-yard line by Norwood Van of the Los Angeles Rams with a 46-yard line. A punt good for only 34 yards. So the Dolphins with excellent field position and the lead of 14-7.
It's determined.
Greasy, we're at Anaheim Stadium, where we have 6 minutes and 42 seconds. That is the time remaining in the first half in the game between the Miami Dolphins and the Los Angeles Rams. For the Dolphins, 11 runs and 16 passes, so a reasonably balanced attack thus far for Miami. And they have good field position at their own 47-yard line. Los Angeles scored first, and it was a recovery in the end zone of a fumble. Tom Newberry, the rookie guard, recovered it for the touchdown. Rams went on top 7-0. Then Marino to Duper, 69 yards on the pass play, and then Marino to Pruitt from 6 yards out. And that was set up by the fumble recovery by Larry Kolick, the fumble caused by Glenn Blackwood. So now the Dolphins have another excellent opportunity starting at their own 47. Only 53 yards away from the end zone. Hampton and Bennett in the backfield, and Hardy is in motion. Woody Bennett to the 45-yard line of Los Angeles. Mel Owens with the tackle. It'll be second down and a couple. And Roy Foster with the lead block.
I mean, it's tough for you and I to come in. Hey.
This is a real dangerous area for the Rams, of course. Anytime you give the Dolphins 7 or 8 yards on first down, it sets up that situation you mentioned before, Charlie. They have the option to go deep with Duper or Clayton or run the football up the middle. A difficult spot for the Ram defense.
Second down and short yardage as Bennett leads to the 44. Doug Reed and Reggie Doss were there to stop him. And a reminder to our viewers that it's hard to say, we'll be selecting the Budweiser most valuable player for today's game at the conclusion of this contest. Just over 5.5 minutes. That is the time remaining in the first half. They're down about a half a yard to go for the first down as Larry Lee checks into the offensive set as Roy Foster comes out for Miami. Hampton is hit behind the line of scrimmage by Mark Giroux, but he managed to slip away for a yard, and that's all that he needed. He goes to the 43 and has the first down.
Mark Giroux taking the gamble and shooting the gap, despite the fact that Marino does like to go over the top, and he does hit Lorenzo Hampton in the backfield, but the late drive of Hampton allows him to shake the tackle of Giroux and get the first down.
And there is Roy Foster on the sideline.
And that could present a problem, Charlie, because the Dolphins are going with just 7 healthy offensive linemen. So that means they're down to 6 if it's a serious injury to Foster. And that would be Larry Lee as the only backup lineman.
First down at the Rams 43. Play action. Marino wants to go deep. Has a man. He's open. And hits him. Touchdown. Mark Clayton. 43 yards. And he got behind Jerry Gray. For Clayton, that is his 8th touchdown reception. Marino now has thrown 39 touchdowns this year. He's 10 of 16 for 196 yards in this ballgame. The extra point, it is good, and Miami is on top 21-7 with 4:24. That is the time remaining in the first half. Bob?
Charlie, again, the Dolphins put the tight end in motion. Right here, they put the tight end in motion to get the safeties to rotate. This time, the safeties stay back, but the play action will fool Gray right here as Clayton comes to the inside, and then we'll go deep down the outside. But watch the play action. The safeties are all right. Now, Clayton runs past him. Marino lays it up into the outside, and it's 2 play action touchdowns off of the same tight end motion to try and fool the safeties and the corners. The reason the Dolphins have been successful is that the Rams have such good vision in their defensive backs. They all look into the backfield, they see what's happening, and they thought that time it was another run.
And so Marino with touchdown passes to 3 wide receivers, Mark Duper, James Pruitt, and Mark Clayton. And it's a 21-7 ball game. As Wad Reve's kicking off with Charles White and Mickey Sutton, the deep backs on the return. And here's Charles White to the 50, the 20, the 25, and returns it to the 30-yard line. And now will the Rams be throwing more?
I don't think so yet. There's no need for them to go away from their game plan. I mean, Eric Dickerson is still the great back he's always been, despite the fact they're down by 14 points. And if they get away from the game plan this early, it forces the Dan Marino back on the field that much more. They have to stay to their game plan to try to give Marino that many fewer opportunities.
And as you see, the play selection is
as even as the Dolphins was, just about.
From the 30-yard line, first down, 2 tight ends on the set for the Rams. And here's Dickerson. Healing up with a couple of yards on the play. Mike Brown with the tackle, and Miami had a shot to drop him for a loss. Larry Kolick is the man who brought it down. And they're going to mark it at the 32-yard line. It'll be second down and 8. 3:49 and counting. That is the time remaining in the first half, and the numbers of Eric Dickerson. again very red and bothered by the flu this morning, which the hospital had an IV as in uniform, and he has not played. The other back behind Dickerson, and he's such a great blocker. They really miss him. This is Dickerson at the 29. It's going to be 3rd down and 1. Kolick with the tackle. And the loss of Barry Redden is going to loom large in that running attack of the Rams. A check of the games in progress. San Diego has added 3 more, and Houston now in front of Minnesota. And remember, Minnesota, they've got to win to keep any kind of an opportunity going for them in the playoffs. Third down, just under 2 to go for the first down. And here's Dickerson. And it may be close. Let's see where they spot it. John Offerdahl was there to meet him right at the 30-yard line. It's the first down.
And that is a situation in particular where Barry Redden's absence really hurts the Rams. As you mentioned earlier, Don Shula unhappy with the mark of that play.
40-yard line, first down. Did I say 30-yard line? I think I did. I meant the 40. The report on Roy Foster is a sore left knee, and he should return to the ballgame. Miami on top, 21-7. Everett goes deep right side. The pass is complete to Henry Ellard, and it's a first down at the Miami 45. A gain of 16.
Here's Henry Ellard working against Renee Thompson up top, and he's got such great deep speed that Thompson has to respect that. You saw Ellard go at his inside shoulder, and Renee Thompson worried about that deep pattern, allowing Ellard to come back and make the catch along the sideline.
And that is the extra dimension that Jim Everett has brought to the Rams. And here's Dickerson. And he is just a yard to the 44, 2nd and 9, as Mike Charles makes the tackle for Miami. How do you stop an Eric Dickerson?
Well, the Dolphins again are trying to do it with that 5 linebacker formation, but as of yet they have been running the football as many times as they can to Dickerson. They haven't stopped him completely or shut him down yet.
And the 2-minute warning will now be given to both benches. The score is Miami 21, the Rams 7. 2 minutes to go in the first half. We'll be back in just a moment. Chuck Studley, defensive coordinator of the Dolphins.
And he's been under some pressure in Miami. Of course, Bill Arnsparger leaving a few years ago, and Chuck Studley coming in as the defensive coordinator. And the defense has not played very well, but there's also a couple of other things going on. They lost a number of players, such as A.J. Dewey to injury. Bob Baumhauer had a number of injuries. So it's not completely on the shoulders of Chuck Studley.
They're playing pretty well today. Everett goes deep, has a man, and he misses him, Henry Ellard. And Ellard was hoping the pass would be a little later on the break. Did I read that correctly?
Well, no, there was a mistake on somebody's part. It was either Jim Everett who threw the ball in the wrong place, but more than likely it was Henry Ellard who ran the incorrect pattern. It seemed that Renee Thompson forced him to the inside, and he broke back out knowing he had to go over there, but that's not the way he wants to run that corner pattern. It seemed he was forced to the inside by Renee Thompson and stuck. Everett simply getting rid of the ball, unfortunately for the Rams, not intercepted.
Third down and 9, 3 wide receivers for Los Angeles. Everett steps forward, he's shut down, and he is sacked. Loses the ball. It is recovered by Pankey. Irv Pankey recovers it. And that will be the 3rd sack for the Miami Dolphins. And Fred Robinson gets his 2nd.
And Jim Everett is usually very adept at getting rid of the pressure, stepping up into the pocket. He does it this time, but he has nowhere to go. He's pinned in from the backside. The fumble comes out, and Irv Pankey with the recovery. George Little playing a pretty good football game, though. The book on him was that he did not rush the passer very well, had trouble with his hands getting rid of an offensive lineman in front of him. But thus far, he seems to be playing that position fairly well.
Either Craig Ellis or Mike Kozlowski will be returning the kick of Dale Hatcher.
And the Dolphins are switching those 2 receivers back and forth to try to confuse Hatcher as to which side he wants to go to.
Fair catch is called for and taken at the 5-yard line. Now, that's a mistake.
That's a big mistake on the part of Ellis. Major mistake. Yeah. First of all, you stand on the 10-yard line, and if the ball goes over your head, you just stand still. Don't call for a fair catch, because if you call for the fair catch, you can't come up and block somebody coming downfield. Ellis did 2 things wrong. One, calling for the fair catch, and then actually going ahead and catching the football.
So Miami takes over on just inside their own 5-yard line. Here's another look.
There you see he was standing on the 10-yard line, and the ball obviously over his head. That's where the punt returner has to say, forget it. It's going to go into the end zone. But the young player back there, has not been returning it all year. In fact, James Pruitt, the wide receiver, number 82, who caught a touchdown earlier, was the return man and was leading the conference, but couldn't hang on to the football, and the Dolphins decided to pull him back there.
Officially, the ball marks at the 5-yard line. And we have some jumping on the left side. That is Dellenbach, who had motion. And a note as far as the Rams offense is concerned. Now, they are without Ron Brown, the great wide receiver, is out with that shoulder separation. They're going with 44 players because they don't want him to put IR.
Start. Number 65 on the offense. Still first down.
They'll take the ball back to almost the 2. It's going to be second down. And the reason they don't want to put Ron Brown on injured reserve, he'd be out for 4 weeks, and that, now you're getting into playoff time. They think he can come back from the shoulder separation. But also, he returns kicks. So the Rams have started drives at the 20, the 21, and the 30-yard line after Dolphin touchdown. So they miss him there also. Now let's see what the Ram defense can do to the Dolphin offense at the Miami 2.
Well, the crowd wants to get into the football game. There's a big sign on the scoreboard yelling defense. The crowd is trying to force the Dolphins into some cadence problems there in the closed end of the end zone.
Here's Davenport. Davenport is out to the 10-yard line. So he'll get about 8 yards. Between 7 and 8 yards to the 10. It's going to be second down and 5. Johnny Johnson with the tackle. We'll take a timeout as there's timeout on the field, and we'll be back in just a moment. Gets a call again. He goes to the 18-yard line and picks up the first down. Vince Newsom with the tackle. There's the score. Miami 21, the Rams 7, and the time remaining in the first half. Last week in New Orleans, Miami led at halftime 31-10, and then they had to hold off the troops to hold on to that ball game.
And actually, the Saints came back to score a touchdown and take the lead with a couple of seconds left, but Reuben Mays, who had 203 yards rushing against the Dolphin defense, was offsides. The play was called back, and the Saints wind up losing the ball game.
And with 3 timeouts left for Miami and 2 from the Rams, they both decide we'll just settle for this score, and we'll take the countdown to the halftime. So it is halftime with the score, Miami 21 and the Los Angeles Rams 7. And the first half, you could label it Dan Marino with touchdown passes to Mark Duper, to James Pruitt, and to Mark Clayton of 69-6 and 43 yards. Quite an offensive display.
It has been on the part of the Dolphins, but the Rams, they've got to get back to running the football. That 5 linebacker set of the Dolphins seems to have worked. I wouldn't be surprised that if in the second half the Rams come out and try to throw the football a little bit more on first down, maybe some play action passes. What do you think, Bob?
I think you're right, Jimmy. I think the Dolphins are very happy to go in 14 points up at this point.
And remember, the Rams, if they want the division title this week, they've got to win. And NFL 86 halftime activities will continue in a moment. That's we're concerned in the first half is the fact that they were able to put pressure on the quarterback of the Rams, Jim Everett.
And they did quite a good job about it. Number 91, that's Robinson, just picked up by the Dolphins, a former defensive end who also plays linebacker, getting to Everett there. Same play, the opposite side.
Good coverage downfield, Jimmy. Allows the team to do something.
And here it is from the other side one more time, and it is Robinson, number 91, getting the ball to go loose, and 75, Irv Pankey with the recovery for the Rams. So they have put quite a bit of pressure on Jim Everett this afternoon.
Now, obviously this is part of their plan, is to put pressure on the rookie quarterback.
Well, they've got to try and do that. I mean, of course, with somebody like Eric Dickerson, you got to take away the running attack as well. But in obvious passing situations, yes, it's going to be imperative the Dolphins get pressure on Everett if the Dolphins are going to do anything, because their secondary has been comatose at best in the past.
All right, Bob. Now, the Rams have been in the locker room. What changes will they make? They're down by 2 touchdowns. What changes will they make?
Well, I don't think they're going to change much at all, Charlie. They have done very well this year with Dickerson running, and now with the last 4 games with Everett passing. I don't think you're going to see anything different offensively, maybe a little bit better execution. Defensively, I think they're going to try and say, listen, the Dolphins have some things. They've seen some things on film that we're doing in the secondary, so just play your defense and play it straight. Don't bite on some of this play-action fake.
Now, have you been impressed with Everett?
I've been impressed with Everett for one thing, and he's not throwing the ball, making bad passes. He's had good coverage downfield. He can't throw the ball. He's taken some sacks, but he's not making the big mistake by throwing interceptions.
Jimmy, from a receiver standpoint, the ball that he throws, is it hard to catch?
Not on the part of Jim Everett. I think the comparison between Everett and Marino is that they're big, strong-arm quarterbacks, but they're able to have that feather touch. They're able to lay the ball over a defender, and for a receiver, that's very important. You don't always want to turn around and have a bullet staring in the face. So Everett and Marino both have that same knack of feathering the ball in over linebackers and in front of defensive backs.
And now I have been waiting for this moment to ask you this question. How tough were the passes of Bob Greasy to catch?
Hey, they're a piece of cake. You know, I'm sorry.
All right.
Feather is one thing. Lob is something else altogether.
I was never accused of having a strong arm. You asked the wrong guy, the right guy, the wrong question.
It is halftime here, and it is still Miami 27, the Rams 7, as they come out for the second half. And let's take a look now at the statistics of the first half. This will give us a chance, if we have time, to go to the official numbers. Passing yardage, 192 for Miami, only 64 for the Rams. And Marino, of course, with the 3 touchdown passes.
It's significant the Dolphins are out rushing the Rams. Surprising statistic, 70 yards for the Dolphins and just 55 for the Rams.
Ellis from the 4-yard line. Craig's out to the 15, and he returns to the 18 or the 19-yard line, where Miami will go to work in the second half. And I think it's, from Miami's standpoint, a break to start on offense, because that is their strong point. And if they could go with another long touchdown drive here, take some time off the clock, and build even more confidence to pull off the upset.
Well, it goes back to what we said about the Rams as you take a look at the possession for the Dolphins today. Actually, that fumble and interception was well inside of the territory of the Rams. It might have cost the Dolphins even a couple of more touchdowns.
The fumble at the 18, the interception in the end zone, and a flag is down. Lorenzo Hampton, the ball carrier. And this is a game that has been relatively free from officials' flags. Holding on Miami. John Robinson, the head coach of the Rams.
Holding. Left guard on the offense. Still first down.
The penalty will take the ball back to the 9-yard line. And be first down and 19 as they split the difference to the goal line. Duper comes wide to the near side at the bottom of the screen. Clayton at the top of the screen. Dan Johnson is the tight end. And Marino has pressure, and he throws, and it is incomplete. Clayton, the intended receiver. Irvin with the coverage. It's going to be second down. And a holding call is going to go against Miami. And Dwight Stevenson was saying, "Who, me?" The offensive center. This one they may refuse. They will refuse it.
Number 65 on the offense. That penalty is declined. It's second down.
Goes on the tackle, Jeff Dellenbach. So it's second down and 19 at the 9.
Second and 19.
Ron Davenport and Lorenzo Hampton are the split backs. Marino throws over the middle. The pass is complete to Hardy, the tight end, and Bruce is to the 17-yard line.
The pass is complete to Bruce Hardy.
A safe call on the part of Marino on the Dolphins with that many yards to go for the first down. The holding penalty bringing them back deep within their own territory. A deep zone on the part of the Rams, and Bruce Hardy, the one who catches the ball, very consistent underneath the coverage. Let's take a look at Marino here, where he's looking. He always looks downfield first all the time. But in this particular case, wanted to go to Hardy right away.
Marino reads deep and then comes back short.
As opposed to many quarterbacks who do it the other way around.
Third down and 11. 6 in the secondary for the Rams. Here's the blitz, and it's picked up, and it is juggled incomplete. Clayton should have had it. He is exchanging statements with Jerry Gray, and then gets a bump from Tim Fox. And now he'd be pulled away in the first punt for Miami.
And that's a little frustration on the part of Clayton. Actually, the two passes, the two previous plays, he should have caught the football twice in that occasion. And he's yelling about the kind of an arm on him. Jerry Gray, just a little bit of a push at the end. No interference whatsoever, though that's just in the natural flow of a pass pattern. But Clayton a little frustrated, dropping two passes that he should have caught.
Nose guard to nose guard, or face guard to face guard. Reggie Roby, his first kick, leading punter in the NFL, almost blocked. Ellard is the deep back, and he's waving everybody off. It's going to be down at the 46-yard line. The Rams will have excellent field position, only 29 yards on the punt, and Mickey Sutton is the man who downed it.
Let's see if he takes a little bit of extra time. He's had some trouble hanging on to the football. Reggie Roby has dropped two snaps right in his hand. Mickey Sutton, though, it didn't look like he took any more time, but Sutton coming across and getting the partial block, giving the Rams good field position.
Isn't it a little sparse?
That's the latest thing.
Jimmy Cephalo and Bob Greasy here at Anaheim Stadium. Miami out in front of the Rams 21-7. And Los Angeles with excellent field position from the Miami 47, and the quick hit to Henry Ellard, and the first down at the 33-yard line, gain of 14. And William Judson made the tackle. Let's go back to the punt and the play of Mickey Sutton that set up this field position. It was Sutton who got a piece of it.
Sutton gets around Hendel, number 90, and should have had the block. Roby, I think, readjusted the way he was kicking the football. If he hadn't, the ball would have been blocked.
First down at the Miami 33. Here's Dickerson, and he has room, and he spins to the 22-yard line. He'll have 11 yards and a first down. Jackie Slater with the key block. Bob Baumhauer and Glenn Blackwood with the tackle. Now, at the half, last week, Mays of New Orleans, 7 carries, 36 yards rushing. He ended up with 203 yards rushing. Dickerson with 41 in the first half.
Over the last 3 weeks, the Dolphin defense has played against the 3 top rushers in the NFL. Gerald Riggs 3 weeks ago had 172 yards. Mays, as you mentioned, Charlie, 203 last week. And now they have Eric Dickerson to contend with.
I gave the first down, and it's going to come up a little short. They're going to mark it at the 23 rather than the 22. So it is second down in inches, and this is a situation where Everett may want to go to the end zone. Best rushing performances against the Dolphins, Mays, or O.J. Simpson, of course, with the first 203, and then Mays, Campbell, McNeil, Gerald Riggs.
And 2 of those performances coming, as I mentioned, the last 3 weeks. It is a good time for them to go over the top. Everett likes the play-action pass, and this may be the occasion where he goes to it. They have a couple of more downs to go for the first down if they don't get it here.
And this is a running formation. And they stay with the run and the first down. Charles White leading the way for Eric Dickerson. Mark Brown and Bud Brown make the tackle just inside the 20. We'll call it the 19. It'll be a first down. And of course, with Barry Redden, the fullback, and the excellent blocker for the Rams, out with the flu, in case you joined us late. He went to the hospital and is back on the sideline but hasn't played, and Charles White is now in the block.
And 2 components of their offense are not there today. You have Ron Brown out with an injury, as well as Barry Redden. So the Ram offense is not at full strength this afternoon.
David Hill in motion, and Everett throws into the end zone, and it is caught. All from Jim Everett this year.
And that is a tremendous throw on the part of Jim Everett. You can't get covered any better than that, it seemed, from this angle at least. But Henry Ellard turned around. They wanted to throw a quick hitch to Henry Ellard right at the line of scrimmage, but Renee Thompson had close coverage on him, and both Everett and Ellard went to the corner of the end zone. A tremendous throw, touch throw, as I mentioned earlier, on the part of Everett.
And a drive of 47 yards in 4 plays. And remember, it was set up by Mickey Sutton, who got a piece of the punt. The extra point by Lansford is up, and it is good out of the hole of Steve Dills. And the Rams may be on the way back. It's 21-14. Earlier today, San Francisco defeated New England 29-24, and of course that means that the Rams must win today if they want the division title today. The Rams play at San Francisco next Friday night, the 19th. New Orleans and Atlanta are out of the picture. And Mike Lansford will be kicking off for the Rams with Ellis and Kozlowski D. Ellis takes it at the 3. He's to the 15 and returns across the 20, and there's a flag down on the play. Vince Newsom and Kevin Green make the tackle. It will go against the Dolphins.
Illegal block. Number 90 doing the return. First down at 10.
The call on Andy Hindle. And now the yards penalized are more even. Let's go back to that touchdown.
Charlie, this is, you asked me how Everett's doing. This was supposed to be a quick hitch. Everett right there wanted to throw the ball. There was bump and run out on Ellard. The adjustment is to run the fade down the field. Both Ellard and the young quarterback made the adjustment, and a heck of a throw by Everett.
Now the ball is on the 9-yard line. Miami needs to get something going here. Otherwise, they will give up good field position to the Rams, and the Rams will continue to that open door. And it is over the middle. It is complete to Davenport, and he has the first down. And when you look back on this game, Jimmy, that may be the key to the whole game right there.
It might be. There was that good coverage downfield on the part of the Rams as we take a look at the scores. The Raiders coming back, well, not really, 20-10, excuse me, but San Diego crawling back into that contest, 17-all, and Houston out in front of Minnesota, 13-7 at the half. But that is what they're going to have to do. The Rams are taking away the deep passing game of the Dolphins as long as they don't get caught looking to the backfield as they did in the first half. It makes Davenport very important underneath the coverage.
A first down at the Miami 23. Davenport will lose a couple of yards. It's going to be 2nd and 12 as Mike Giroux, the inside linebacker, makes the stop. We're moving on the 10-minute mark, time remaining in the third quarter. And the Rams have pulled within 7. It's Miami 21 and Los Angeles 14. Woody Bennett is out with a sprained shoulder. So Davenport will play the second half. Here's Hampton off of the screen, and he is out to the 30, and that is it. A gain of 9 on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and 3 as Vince Newsom led the Rams defense.
Coming in with their specialty people, a pass rusher and Gary Jeter, and a couple more defensive backs during the football game. Mark Giroux, who made that last tackle just a play ago, has been in and playing for the injured Jim Collins and All-Pro. So this Ram defense has also had to fill some gaps because of injury.
6 in the secondary, 3rd down and 3. Marino from the shotgun, and he's moving Tony Nathan around. He throws, it's there, first base dropped. Clayton now has dropped 3 very catchable passes. Jerry Gray had the cover.
Marino audible at the line of scrimmage. He changed it, and he had the right play on. It's just Clayton who drops the football.
One of the things the Rams are doing differently, they're blitzing their linebackers, which puts man-to-man coverage in the secondary and forces Marino, in this occasion, to throw the ball before he'd like to. But a good throw, just wasn't caught.
Roby now with his second punt. And remember, it was Mickey Sutton that got a piece of the first one. Henry Ellard set for the return. This is the best kicker in the NFL. This one he gets off, he really hangs it up. That's second deck action. And is taken on a fair catch at the 26-yard line. 44 yards on the kick. And the Rams will take over on offense. We've got a timeout as we take one more look at hang time. We'll be back in just a moment. 27-yard line. It is a predictable offense.
It is. Jim Everett has completed 9 passes, 7 of those going to Henry Ellard, the wide receiver, and 2 to Eric Dickerson, the only 2 people who have caught the football this afternoon for the Rams.
Charlie, you can have a predictable offense if you can get things done. You know, when we were winning championships in the 70s, everyone said they knew what we were going to do, but you just go out and say, beat us, we're going to do what we do best.
Eric Dickerson is rushed for 55 yards, 17 carries for 55 yards, and here he comes again. To the 40, to the 50, 25 yards. Mark at 23 yards to the 50, and a first down.
Change their offense? No way. Now with an Eric Dickerson in the backfield. He gets the good blocking from the inside. That's Jackie Slater, number 78, leading it down. And then it becomes a mismatch in the secondary. When it's Dickerson against a small defensive back, such as a Glenn Blackwood, number 47, who missed that tackle, it is a pure mismatch. Dickerson has the speed to run over, or excuse me, around the defensive back, or the power to run over him.
Dennis Harrow with the key block. A first down. They mark it Miami 49. Play action. Pass is complete to Tim Terrell. Incomplete. Are they going to mark it there? Yes, they are. Don Shula, I believe, saying that he was juggling. Is that right?
Terrell, I think he's saying that Terrell did not have possession of the football. He'll lose that argument.
The Rams are saying that he does. Now, Terrell does not have a reception, nor does he have a rush. This would be his first for the Rams this year.
Well, let's take a look and see if Don Shula's objections are correct or not. It looks like he has possession from this angle, without question.
We've got a completed catch.
Fumble.
A fumble, it went out of bounds. It'll be LA's ball.
Right. Good call. Renee Thompson is the man who hit him. Just over 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. The Rams trail by 7, and they're on the move.
Well, that gave them enough, excuse me, Charlie, for the first down, and they are talking to the replay official up here in the booth.
The hit at the 41-yard line, I believe, and the ball went out at the 37. That may be what the discussion is. Norm Schachter is the replay official. Joe Brown is the communicator. The umpire, whatever it was that he said, and Don said that they found.
I've said my piece, and I'm finished. You've heard it all.
Yeah. There is the replay booth.
We have a completed catch. A fumble on the 40-yard line, which goes out of bounds. The ball comes back to the spot of the fumble. It'll be second down.
They mark it at the spot of the fumble. And it will be second down and just about a yard to go for the first down. So Terrell has his first reception for the Rams. And it's 2nd and 1. Close to the 35. He's got the first down. Bud Brown and Bob Brudzinski with the tackle. And the game's in progress all in the third quarter. Kansas City continues to lead the Rams by 10. And another note, if Kansas City wins, that means that the Jets are in the playoffs. Seattle and San Diego are locked up in a tie in the third. And Houston out in front of Minnesota, and if Minnesota loses, they're out of the playoff picture. First down for the Rams. Here's Dickerson. Nice head fake, slips a tackle. 23-yard line. 12 yards. Mark Brown makes the stop.
The Rams just continue to wear down the defensive front of the Dolphins. Originally, the Dolphins were stopping them early, but with an offensive line like Smith and Harrer and Slater, all pros, and Dickerson running behind it, they just continue to wear them down. And more and bigger chunks of yardage coming out here in the second half for Eric Dickerson as he closes in on the 100-yard mark one more time.
20 carries, 96 yards. This will be the 11th time this year in 15 games he has been over 100. Into the corner. No. Kevin House thought he had it. Renee Thompson Thompson was the defender. It'll be 2nd and 10 back at the 23.
The Rams are picking on Rene Thompson on that side of the field. He was the one that was beaten before by Henry Elliott. Does he get both feet in bounds or not? One is down. The second one is dragged behind, and that should be a touchdown. Good play on the play of House.
And they're pointing to the Diamond Vision here at Anaheim Stadium. They had that same replay.
Well, that replay is sufficient enough from the angle we had it there. That's a touchdown.
This angle hard to tell from.
Yeah, but the other one was fine. He makes the catch, 1 foot down, the second one in.
It's a touchdown. Now the key word is conclusive evidence. Is this conclusive?
Well, is he juggling the football? That's what we can't see from that angle, but apparently it doesn't appear that he has been. Both feet are definitely in. The only question from that official, and it seems that he's looking down at the ground to see the feet, was whether or not he was juggling the ball.
And again, there is Norm Schachter, who is the replay official, and he is the man. And this decision rests on his shoulders. Here's the call. No, I thought Red Cash was going to step away and make the call. John Robertson, look at that.
And the Ram players signaling touchdown.
What is the crowd? Replay, replay. It has replaced defense as the crowd.
All right, one more angle. He is now looking down at the feet. The official definitely is trying to find out if he got the feet in bounds. That was the question of the official on the field. And there is no doubt from that replay that both feet were in bounds. I don't understand what the delay is.
There's Red Cashin. He doesn't understand the delay either. And so we all, a sellout house here at the Big A, waiting in anticipation of a final decision from the eye in the sky upstairs. Shouldn't really take this long.
Isn't it time for us to get rid of the instant replay? I mean,
I like it. I just think we ought to do it quicker.
All we're doing is taking the questions from the booth and transferring it to the question, or from the sideline and transferring it to the questions in the booth. So what are we saving?
And time marches on.
Well, we could go get a cup of coffee down the street.
We could have taken a commercial here. Do you realize that? No, what's that?
No, this is too much fun to take a commercial.
No, we don't want to leave the action. It's been so long, I've almost forgotten what the discussion is over. Now, one of the problems could be that the communications is broken.
Now,
23-yard touchdown pass from Jim Everett to Kevin House.
Now that kind of delay takes away the high fives in the end zone. It takes away the celebration. It takes away the congratulations and the spontaneity of the crowd for a touchdown. I guess the only good thing for a defensive player, it also takes away the anger of the coach for the man who just got beat.
But it doesn't take away the touchdown nor the tie. We're tied at 21-21. The delay in the booth. The feet were down. Did he have possession? The sideline official said yes. The touchdown stands. Took so long. The replay official, Norm Schachter, knew that he had both feet in bounds. He had to check with the official on the sideline. If he indeed had possession, the official said yes, he did have possession. Therefore, the touchdown does stand. That is the ruling that we have received from the replay booth. And the score is tied 21-21, and Mike Lansford will be kicking off for the Rams. So Jim Everett now has thrown 2 touchdown passes. He has 7 on the year. And in this quarter, he has completed 4 of 4 for 65 yards and 2 touchdowns. And here is Ellis on the return, and the flag is down. And Miami again, in all probability, usually when that flag comes down, it's an illegal block in the back. And the Dolphins are going to be hurting on field position on the drive. Mel Owens made the tackle.
And that has been a continuous problem for the Dolphins during the second half. Every time they do get the football, it has been a penalty, a holding.
Holding. Number 11 during the run back.
That's
First down at 10.
Crash Jensen.
Jim Jensen, nicknamed Crash because of his special team play, despite the fact being a college quarterback.
So Miami at their own 17-yard line, first down. We are tied 21-21. So the Rams have picked up 14 points on Miami in the second half, and they've shut down Marino so far. Far side pass is complete at the 20 to Davenport. The point of the catch is the 20. They'll get 3 yards. Eckert and Nolan Cromwell were there. Second down and 7. And the other games in progress. Kansas City continues to lead the Raiders by 10. Seattle with a field goal now in front of San Diego by 3, and Houston out in front of Minnesota. Those games in the third quarter, as is this one. We are tied 21-21 with 5:40 and counting time remaining third quarter. Marino fires over the middle. It is Dan Johnson at the 25-yard line. It's going to be third down, and a couple. It is Eckert again, one of the 2 inside linebackers for the Rams, who makes the tackle.
Now this is the adjustment of the Rams in the second half. As Bob mentioned earlier, the good vision of the defensive backs. They win at halftime, and in all probability, Fritz Shermer told his defensive backs, you've got to be more aware of what's going on in the field. Forget about looking into the backfield. Because of that, it's forcing the Marino to drop the ball underneath the coverage, and that sets up the 3rd and 2 now.
6 in the secondary for the Rams. Third down and 2. Marino's pass is complete at the 30-yard line to Mark Clayton. Hold it, it was Nat Moore. And it is a first down, as Vince Newsom was right there at the 30-yard line. They needed a couple, they got 5. So Moore picks up the first down, and remember that Clayton has dropped the last 3 that have been in his hand.
Clayton having trouble with that injured shoulder. A few weeks ago, he was declared out for the season. 3 days later, he was questionable, then probable. Missed that one football game, but now he's been back into it and has his 1,000-yard season.
Tight end Bruce Hardy holds on at the 47-yard line. 16 yards and a first down as Marino waited to the last possible moment. Eckert and Cromwell for the defense.
Marino's ability to get rid of the football quicker allows his receivers downfield one extra step in trying to get open. He can hang on to the football as he takes quite a shot from number 93, Doug Reed. About a 1/10 of a second more because of his jackhammer release, and that allows Bruce Hardy to get behind the secondary in front of the linebackers and pick up a first down.
Marino has completed 17 of 26. He's thrown for 257 and add a few more. As Hampton pulls this one in.
You see the strategy change taking place in the first half. A lot of deep throwing on the part of the Dolphins with the play action passes. Now the Rams have taken that away, and Marino goes to the underneath stuff, dumping it off to his tight ends and to his running backs.
Leroy Irvin with the tackle at the Rams 49. Second down and 6. We're moving on the 3-minute mark, time remaining. Third quarter, we're tied 21-21. Defensive play at the 45. Johnson, the intended receiver, and Cromwell was there. It'll be third down and 6.
Gary Jeter, the defensive end who comes in on passing situation, gets one step closer to Dan Marino every time. There you see him, 77, working against Jeff Dellenbach, number 65. He is now about a quarter of a step away, and it seems every time he's inserted into the football game, he gets closer and closer to Dan Marino.
Third down and 6. and 6. He got behind Leroy Irvin.
He had the man-to-man coverage on the side, but watch the throw by Dan Marino. He knows where he wants to go. The pressure comes from the outside. He throws off his back foot, and it is a perfect throw downfield to Mark Duper. Watch the end of this play. He knows where he has to go and feels the pressure, and off his back foot he tosses it. The perfect throw, and it seems a little bit of interference despite the fact Mark Duper comes up with the catch against Leroy Irvin, number 47.
And Marino has now thrown for 301 yards, and as soon as he got that one off, he was decked by Kevin Green. And we have some pushing, perhaps Dwight Stevenson with a move. Let's see what the call is. Sean Miller made contact. As you know, from tackle to tackle, once you go to that 3 or 4 point offensive stance, you can't make a move.
Encroachment, number 98 on the defense.
There was no movement.
First down.
Well, that's the second time that Sean Miller has been called for it this afternoon. He's lined up right over the nose of Dwight Stevenson. A good old all-pro center will squeeze the football when the nose tackle is staring at it, making the nose tackle jump off sides. I wonder if Dwight Stevenson is pulling that trick this afternoon.
It is first down and goal to go. The ball just inside the 5-yard line.
Now, does he squeeze it right at the beginning or not? Squeeze it, but don't snap it. That's the trick.
Marino drills this one on the break. It is there. Touchdown. Mark Duper, a 5-yard reception, and they're picking on Irvin again. And Duper has his second touchdown of the ballgame. And Marino has now thrown for 4. So Miami back in front with the extra point attempt. Larry Lee to snap, Don Strock to hold. Rod Revage with the attempt. And they're looking, I think, for a little better piece of turf. Notice there, that's part of the infield when baseball is played here, and Don Strock wants it to be on the good grass just outside. You can see the curve of the infield where it's been resodded. High snap, but he pulls it down, and a good kick. And the Dolphins now lead the Rams by 7 again.
83 yards.
Dan Marino now with 4 touchdown passes and 306 yards.
Let's take a look at it, Charlie. There's 22 players on the field, but what Marino does is isolate it with just Duper and Irvin. He's just going to go down and run a simple 5-yard out. If there's anything that Irvin should be concerned about right here, perfect throw. If the ball was thrown anywhere to the inside, Irvin would have had a play on the football. Nice throw by Marino.
The toughest part for a receiver to run down here is it's a tough pattern because the defensive back has the end line of the end zone to help him. So he doesn't have to worry about the deep pattern. You simply have to worry about whether a receiver is going to break in or out. That time, Duper broke, and Marino threw the football well before the break of Mark Duper.
An 83-yard drive in 9 plays by the Dolphins. And that is the 5th time that Marino has thrown, 5th time this season that Marino has thrown for at least 4 touchdowns. Charles White and Mickey Sutton are the deep backs to return the kickoff. Wad Revage will be booting for Miami. The Dolphins lead it 28-21. 1:35. That is the time remaining 3rd quarter here at Anaheim Stadium. Charles is to the 20 and returns for 25 yards to the 25, where the Rams will go to work with a first down. Jim Everett in his 4th start at quarterback for Los Angeles, 6'5", 212-pounder. Of course, you probably know by now that John Robinson had always said, I don't need a tall quarterback. And they asked him about that, and he said, well, the reason is I never had a tall quarterback. But it makes a difference from a receiver standpoint when your quarterback's 6'5".
Oh, it does, because if you can't look back and see your receiver, the ball simply appears out of a mass of humanity called an offensive and defensive line. It's important to see it from the point of the quarterback throwing the football.
And here is Dickerson just for a yard. So it's just as important, or maybe more important, from a receiver standpoint than from the quarterback standpoint. So the ball just doesn't appear on you.
Right. I've heard Doug Flutie and others say that, well, the size doesn't hurt. Maybe it doesn't for a quarterback. Maybe he's able to look over those big defensive linemen. But as for a wide receiver, it's easier to see the ball thrown right from the hand of a quarterback than for it to simply appear.
And then if you don't have that big height like Bob Greasy, he would get out in the passing lane so you could see him.
Must have been before I got in.
For the record, Bob Grimm, so it's okay. 2nd and 9. Everett to throw. Has good protection. Then he throws incomplete. David Hill, the intended receiver, and he was off balance then. As Everett, well, he has a tendency every once in a while to get caught with his weight going back.
Well, he does have an unorthodox throwing motion on occasion, and that time he seemed to be unsure whether he wanted to go with the football to Hill or not, and Hill was covered fairly well by Larry Kolick, as we mentioned before, getting his first NFL start in his first NFL game.
11 of 20 for 150 yards, 3 wide receivers for the Rams. 3rd down and 9 as Michael Young joins the trio. Eller, Young, and Howe. Everett from the shotgun. And here's the screen, and it is Dickerson who catches it at the 20-yard line. And the Miami Dolphins were waiting there for him. That's Ryan Sauché. And that means that Hatcher will come in to kick as we take another look.
One more time, they have the lineman pulling out in front. And for Sauché, he followed the lineman down the line. He knew he'd smell the football if he did. And he hits Dickerson just as he touches the ball.
So it is 4th down and 15, and Dale Hatcher to kick. And we look for Miami to put the pressure on here. Here they come. Gets a good kickoff. Ellis takes it at the 39-yard line. He's to the 40. Slips 1 tackle. He'll get about 5 yards on the return. A 40-yard kick by Hatcher, but Miami has good field position. As we take the countdown, hold it. There were 2 flags down. There were 2 flags. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We thought we were coming to the official close of the 3rd quarter, but let's see what Red Cashin has to say. Mike McDonald was down to make the tackle for the Rams, and he is the player who snapped the ball to the punter. That kick, of course, being the last play of the 3rd quarter, and that will come into contention here, the discussion of the officials. Red Cashin discussing the options with Jim Jensen.
Holding by the offense number 32. That penalty is declined. It'll be 1st down and 10.
They declined the penalty, the holding call on Tim Terrell. Miami wants the football. That is the end of the 3rd quarter, and we'll be right back after these messages. As we start a hot 4th quarter, the score is Miami 28 and the Rams 21. And Miami has the football at their own 44-yard line, 1st down. Back to the 43, so it's going to be 2nd down and 11. We had a delay of game penalty, you might say, on this touchdown pass from Everett to Kevin House, because it took the officials, I don't know, we didn't run the clock. It felt like 5 or 6 minutes before they finally decided that it was a touchdown. And Miami, of course, with this touchdown pass to Mark Duper. 2nd and 11. Marino fires, and it is there. It is inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Lorenzo Hampton with a 19-yard reception. And Jimmy, let's take a look at the statistics through 3 quarters.
Well, the yards passing obviously in favor of the Dolphins. With the rushing yards, that's changed since the halftime. It's gone back over to the Rams. Dickerson with 98 yards now in rushing. It's only a matter of time with him pounding away behind that big defensive line before he does continue to pile up the yards.
1st down for Miami at the Rams 38-yard line. incomplete to Davenport. And Mark Giroux was putting the pressure on Marino. It'll be second down and 10 at the Rams 38. Play selection for the Dolphins. They have run 18 times and now beginning to throw more. Passes up to 33. Coming from the outside, it is picked up. Hampton with the reception, and he ends up crawling for about the last 4 yards, and that will be enough to pick up the first down.
But the official is going to mark it back. It seemed like someone got a hand on him, forcing him to go down to the knee before he crawled and got up and got enough yards for the first down.
It may be Eckern, and here's Bob Greasy.
Charlie, you said blitz. You're right. Cromwell, the strong safety, blitzes, and the linebacker goes out and takes his pass coverage. But the Dolphins pick it up. If you stop it right there, you'll see the back picks him up. Good protection by the Dolphins.
Now the pass is complete, and they're ruling he was touched and down. I'm not sure that's a correct ruling, but that's what's going to stand. This is a 31, third down and 3. Now wait a minute. The officials are stopping the clock. Let's take another look at that. We may have an overrule by the replay official on the first down. I think that's what is going on here. Let's take another look at that, where he was touched down, because remember, you know, it's a different rule in the college. Everybody knows that.
Here we go again. Now, what the ruling was on the field at the time is that Hampton is tackled right here, that the arm forces him to the ground, and there is where the ball was marked. Now the question being, was he forced down by the arm of the linebacker, or did he fall on his own? Let's see it from this angle. No, he's missed completely. He was not touched whatsoever.
I think it should be a first down. It was asked, by the way, the replay did not call down for it. It was asked by the officials on the field, and they did not overrule. So it's third down and 3 at the 31. And here comes pressure from the outside on the blitz. He has to get rid of it. Single coverage is complete inside the 10 to Nat Moore. Cromwell makes the tackle 24 yards. Does anybody pick up the blitz or read the defenses better than Marino?
I don't know, but Tim Fox gambled on this play. Let's see if we can see it. He tries to go up and take Nat Moore off the line of scrimmage. There you see he missed Nat Moore. He had a man-to-man coverage. He tried to knock him down instead of covering him downfield. When he missed, Nat Moore stuck behind him, and enough yards for the first down. As you said, Charlie, though, it's Dan Marino who reads the coverage and gets the football off.
7-yard line, first down, goal to go. Converting on a third down and 3 with the blitz coming. Marino has now thrown for 356 yards, 23 of 34. This one is good to the 5-yard line to Hampton as Cromwell and Irvin make the tackle at the 5. And it's second down and goal to go. So Miami leading by 7, trying to stretch the margin, and the other games in progress. The Raiders clawing back at Kansas City. Now the margin is 3. Seattle leading San Diego by 10, and Houston remains in front of Minnesota. Those are the other 3 games along with this one, as Everett is just staying loose on the sideline. We've got 11 minutes left to go in the ball game. The Dolphins lead at 28-21 and threaten at the 5. Second down, goal to go. Davenport to the 1-yard line, where Cromwell turns him away, and it's third down and goal to go. Are you surprised by that call? I was. I thought he'd be throwing down.
Well, no, I'm not surprised by it. They have to be concerned now with trying to run some time off the clock as well, and they're mixing up a little bit of the run, a little bit of the pass. This is a good call down and close. Ron Davenport a year ago set a Dolphin record for scoring touchdowns via the rush. This year he has 1 touchdown. It's with a pass reception. He's been inconsistent, running high with the football. And normally in these situations a year ago, they would go to Davenport over the top and look for Lorenzo Hampton because he has every scoring rushing touchdown the Dolphins have.
Marino wants to throw, has pressure from the backside. It is incomplete. And that was on third down and goal to go. And the field goal attempt will come in.
Now this is really a run or a pass option, but Marino is forced to stay there right at the edge of the pocket because he had good pressure upfield, and that's what really stopped it. The defensive end from the Rams came across, forced Marino to remain in the pocket.
I want to ask Bob Greasy. There's pressure coming from the backside. Do you just feel that pressure as a quarterback? You know when you're running out of time?
When you roll that way, you know you can't take too much time, and he knew that he had to get rid of the football.
An 18-yard field goal attempt by Fuad Reveiz. And it is good from 18 yards away. And the score is now Miami 31 and Los Angeles 21. We'll be back with a kickoff. Jimmy Cefalo and Bob Greasy. We have 10 minutes and 6 seconds left to go in the ball game. And the Miami Dolphins lead the Los Angeles Rams by 10, 31-21. And earlier today, San Francisco defeated New England 29-24. And here's Charles White. He'll run it out of the end zone. He's out to the 15. A fumble at the 20-yard line. And the Rams retain possession of the football. Jim Jensen is the man who made the hit for Miami. So Crash does it again.
And that's how he made the football team, as a matter of fact. A late-round draft choice to the Dolphins out of Boston University several years ago. But runs well and is a tough, you know, the line that there's a quarterback playing linebacker. Well, Jim Jensen is a linebacker who would like to play quarterback, I think. He plays off the hit of the wedge coming up, takes it on, makes a big enough hit to cough the football. Now, that's not a quarterback in my book.
Little play-action fake by Everett. Far side to David Hill, and Hill struggles out at the 31-yard line. So he'll pick up 9. It's going to be second down and 1. William Judson was the Dolphin that he was pulling out with him at the 31. And, of course, Jensen is the number 3 quarterback for Miami. And when he throws in preseason and goes in and plays quarterback, he has to change shoulder pads.
Well, with the shortened a couple years ago, it was a 49-man roster. Now when it goes to 45, as it has, someone like Jim Jensen becomes that much more valuable. Plays third down, tight end, could play wide receiver, quarterback if you need him, and he contributes on special teams.
There's the time remaining, 9:45, fourth quarter. Rams down by 10. It is there. Kevin House. House inside the Miami 40-yard line. 31 yards on the play. Blackwood and Brown with the tackle. Here's Bob Greasy.
Well, Charlie, they've been working on Renee Thompson, and they're right down here, as we say. Now, there's just 2 people involved. He's just going to go down and break to the outside, and Thompson will miss the tackle. Everett looks to the middle of the field, and you got man-to-man coverage at the bottom, and a good move by House to avoid the tackle and gets downfield for about 15 more yards.
Here's Dickerson. He cuts back and goes to the 32-yard line. He'll pick up about 7. It's going to be second down and 3. Offerdahl with the stop along with Bud Brown. Kevin House now 2 receptions and 54 yards, and he has a touchdown. Dickerson over the century mark, 22 carries, 105 yards. And those goggles that he wears there, those are prescription goggles. He's been wearing those since high school.
I think John Jefferson a couple of years ago may have been the first to pro that I remember at least wearing the goggles.
But Dickerson wore them at SMU. Yeah, several years ago with Jefferson. Second down and 3. The Miami 32-yard line. Play action fake. It is there, and David Hill is wide open at the 18-yard line. 15 yards.
So this is a designed rollout. They go with the play action fake, but he's coming out right away. He's got a guard in front of him, and he has 2 receivers downfield. One is Hill, who's in the short flat, and the other, the wide receiver House, who's way downfield. That time he elects to go to Hill and picks up the first down.
So Jim Everett, the rookie quarterback of the Rams, now 200 yards. He's trying to get it all back on this drive. Here's Dickerson to the 15. Second down and around 7 as George Little and Bob Brudzinski makes the tackle. And of course, the Rams trailing by 10 need to get some points here on this drive. Kansas City leading the Raiders by 3. And again, if Kansas City wins, the Jets are in the playoffs. Seattle keeping some hopes alive over San Diego by 10. And Houston shutting the door on Minnesota's possible playoff chances. Tim Terrell and Charles White have checked into the offense. Away. Good defensive play by William Judson. He just went over the top. Everett's going to argue. He just went over the top and deflected the ball down. Eller, the intended receiver.
And that's one of the few times that Everett has gone to William Judson's side when you have a Rene Thompson or a William Judson to pick on, the two corners for the Dolphins. Naturally, you go to Thompson's side because he does not have that much experience, a track man in college who was really just learning to play the corner position.
3rd down and 7. .6:56, so there's a lot of time remaining. From the shotgun. End zone into coverage, and it is incomplete. Michael Young was trying to slide around for it, and he couldn't get to it.
And it was a good throw on the part of Everett. Young seemed to be open in the corner of the end zone, working against number 28, Don McNeil, but he slipped right at the end. And I don't know if he was able to get this ball. If he doesn't fall down, does he? What he'd been able to? Might have been. It's just one step away from him. A good throw on the part of Everett.
Mike Lansford with a field goal attempt. Dills to hold. It would be an attempt of 32 yards. Well within his range. Mike McDonald with the snap. The pull within 7. It's good. From 32 yards away. And it's now Miami 31. The Rams 24. We'll be back with a kickoff. January the 1st, of course, for our coverage of the Rose Bowl and the Orange Bowl. And then on Friday night, January the 2nd, the 3 of us are going to be in Tempe, Arizona for the Fiesta Bowl, the battle for #1. Jimmy Cefalo, first give us your impression of one of the ball clubs.
Well, the University of Miami, not only, of course, do they have Vinny Testaverde, the Heisman Trophy winner and the best college player in football today, but they also have a lot of other weapons, such as Melvin Bratton, a big, strong halfback, and Alonzo Highsmith, a good running back as well, and Michael Irvin, maybe the best young wide receiver in college football today.
What about Penn State, Mom?
Well, I know Joe Paterno and the Penn State Lions were embarrassed last year in the Orange Bowl, and I think they're going to give Miami a very good ball game.
But we still, of course, have a lot of action here, but we are going to have some action in Tempe, Arizona on Friday night, January the 2nd, for the national championship. Craig Ellis on the return for the Miami Dolphins. And second half play selection for the Dolphins in the second half. They've thrown it 19 times. They have run 3.
Well, there goes balanced attack out the window.
And their rushing yardage in the second half is 0. The passing yardage is 163. Miami from the 27-yard line. First down. Just over 6.5 to go. The Dolphins up by 7, knocked away at the line of scrimmage. Doug Reed makes the play. 6'3", 250 pounds from San Diego State. Second time in the ball game that he's done that. Today's telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Rams and the National Football League is prohibited. Second down and 10. Marino has completed 24 of 37. He's thrown for 359 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Pass is complete at the 30-yard line. So it'll go for 3 to Bruce Hardy, the tight end. It's going to be 3rd down and 7. Jerry Gray was there. And Hardy a little slow getting up.
And their backup tight end, Dan Johnson, has had trouble with a bruised toe, so Hardy becomes that much more important. The 3rd tight end on the roster is Jim Jensen, number 11, that quarterback I talked to you before about.
I thought for a moment that he had a Charlie horse when he got up.
A Charlie horse?
A Charlie horse. Probably wondering where that came from.
Where did that come from?
So glad you asked. Tell you after this play. Third and 7, 6 in the secondary. Incomplete. Pruitt, the intended receiver, and Mickey Sutton makes the play for the Rams. Just for the record, George Costable, the Mansfield, Ohio News Journal. We talked about this on a ball game earlier, and he did a column, and he researched it, and it's from the French name. It's a pet name for a lame horse. They call it a Charlie. I can tell you're thrilled.
I'll remember that the next time I get one.
I call it a Jimmy horse myself. That's a Reggie Roby to kick. Oh, it's a beauty. Ellard, fair catch at the 25-yard line, 45 yards. Excellent hang time, so the coverage was there. We've got a timeout. 5:29 left of the game. We'll be back in a moment. Time do they have to hurry up their offense?
Well, not for a long time. 5:29 is an eternity in the NFL. The Rams don't have to abandon their running attack yet. This is the time to go to your clipboard, find out what the 5 best producing plays have been over the course of the game, and run them in succession now.
And here's the first. That's a passing formation. Little sidearm that is there. David Hill. And Jim Everett had the pressure and had to go to the sidearm throw, and he completes it.
And Everett buys some time back in the pocket. He did not have the receiver he wanted right away, but he eventually found Hill by jumping around in the pocket. Just a second. As you said, Charlie, sidearm throw, and it's Hill beating number 51 Mark Brown man-to-man coverage.
18 yards to the 43-yard line. Everett now has completed 16 of 27. He's thrown for 218 yards. And he goes deep and is pulled down. He's got the hot hand, 35-yard line of Miami. Henry Ellard, 22 yards on the play. Judson with the stop. And here come the Rams.
Now this is what Everett does for a ball club. Good move on the line of scrimmage by Henry Ellard, going man-to-man against Judson. And as soon as he turns, the football is there. Jim Everett, 5 weeks ago, the Rams would not be able to put together this kind of drive. Charlie, when you ask what kind of plays do you run, without a Jim Everett, you give it to Dickerson. With the Jim Everett, you're able to throw that kind of a pass.
Little play action fake, and it is incomplete. Ellard was the intended receiver, was overthrown. At the 35-yard line, the line of scrimmage, it'll be 2nd down and 10. And let's go back and check all of the scores. And these are the early games. Cleveland just destroying Cincinnati 34-3. San Francisco edging New England by 5. The Giants defeating St. Louis very comfortably 27-7. Philadelphia over Dallas. And Indianapolis winning their 2nd game. They're in a roll now.
1-2 in a row since Ron Meyer taking over.
New Orleans wins and Green Bay wins. 2nd and 10. Here's Miami 31, Rams 24. Everett sets in the pocket, goes underneath the coverage, a little behind Tim Terrell. Still a catchable ball. Larry Kolick with the coverage. Let's take another look.
Terrell, this is his 2nd opportunity to make a catch, as you mentioned, Charlie. Brand new to the NFL, and his 2nd drop of the afternoon.
And the games in progress along with this one in the National Football League. There are 3 other games. Kansas City still leading by 3 over the Raiders. Seattle out in front of San Diego by 3. And Houston in front of Minnesota by 9. 3 wide receivers for the Rams. 3rd down and 10. First down. By a yard, Kevin House. 11 yards on the play. Fly, and Kozlowski. Here's Bob Greasy.
Just a slant route. House is here. The inside receiver will clear, and House will come inside and make the reception enough for a 1st down. Everett looks downfield, and he sees the opening underneath, and it was a good running by House to get the extra yardage for the 1st down.
Eric Dickerson has about 5 yards on the play. Mark it at the 19, so it'll be 2nd down and 5. Jim Everett, the quarterback of the Rams, only his 4th start. This is his best game as far as statistics are concerned. 18 of 31. There it is, 251 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, play action, has time, buys time. And he goes to the 13-yard line, and that'll be a 1st down. Kolick was there to cover him. Rams trail by 7.
And that's the same play that the Rams were successful with just a couple of minutes ago. He had David Hill dragging across the middle, and he had Henry Eller down deep in the sideline. That time the Dolphins took Hill away, and he elected to run the football.
Here's Dickerson. He cuts back, and he's to the 8-yard line. He has 4. It's going to be 2nd down and 6. As we take the countdown to the 2-minute mark. 2 minutes left here at Anaheim. The score is Miami 31, the Rams 24, and the Rams are threatening. We'll be back in a moment. The Rams started this drive back at their own 25-yard line. It was first down to the 43. First down to Miami 35. Then 2nd and 10. 3rd and 10 at the 35. Then 11 yards to the 24. And a first down. Then it was 2nd and 5. And then a first down. And now it's 2nd and 6. Dickerson, the only Rams running back to carry the ball today. 25 times, 115 yards. And so that means that is the 11th time this season that Dickerson has gone over the 100-yard mark. And he's right on his average now with still time remaining. Carries 25 plus, 25.3. That's what the plus means. Carries per ball game.
It'll be interesting to see how that diminishes over the next couple of years with the Jim Everett in the backfield. I would imagine next year he would probably like to have that number down a little bit to extend his career as much as possible.
Dickerson to the 1-yard line.
Dickerson, a play that Bob mentioned before, pulling Pankey around from the tackle position on the offside and taking quite a hit from number 51, Mark Brown. He was slow getting up. But that's the trick of all those old good running backs. Slow getting up and fast going over the top.
First down, goal to go. Dickerson. He does not go in. Officials timeout to spot the ball. Clock is stopped, 1:13.
And that really does not hurt the Los Angeles Rams. That was a first down play. There's mid-13 left in the football game. You don't want to give, at least in regulation, you don't want to give Dan Marino that much time to work the 2-minute drill.
That's all. About 4, maybe 5 inches away. And Marino's facing says, he wants to score. I want another shot at it in regulation time. Dickerson, he's got it. Kicking off. And it goes out of bounds. We'll bring it back 5 yards. I'll kick it again. There's no 50 seconds. Last 2 minutes of play. Either half. The clock does not start until the ball has been touched in the field of play.
All right, the look for the touchdown from this angle. Good line blocking, a big drive. 2 linebackers going over the top. And Dickerson avoiding them, sliding into the end zone. Good line play on the part of the Los Angeles Rams. They won that battle. Blocked the 2 linebackers. Number 90 handled the number 56 Oferdal. Go over the top. Then miss. And Dickerson slides right to the side, but they look like 2 flying supermen together over the top that missed the phone booth.
And to those viewers who have just joined us to watch Our House, stay tuned. Because Our House will be seen in its entirety immediately following football, except for Mountain and Pacific Time Zone station, where the program will be seen at its regular time. And Sunday night at the movies. Tonight it's another great one, 48 hours. Oh, it's spectacular. Have you seen that?
Yes, I have.
Oh, I'm going to see it again tonight. I really like that. For Eric Dickerson, that is the 10th touchdown this year. His 56th career touchdown. That's a Ram record. Now the ball's back at the 30-yard line. That means Marino has 5 more yards. See, he's pacing the sideline. He's ready.
As soon as the touchdown was scored, he and Don Shula huddled to find out and discuss strategy on the sideline.
Well, what can they do in 50 seconds? Here's Ellis on the return after the 25. Across the 30 out of bounds, stopping the clock at the 31-yard line. It would have stopped anyway on the change of possession, of course. And there's the numbers on Dan Marino. Vince Newsom was there for the Rams on the kickoff team. And we have 46 seconds left in regulation, or we're headed towards overtime. We're tied 31-31. And the ball at the 31-yard line. Wad Reves has a 52-yarder this year. Field goal attempt. That is his career distance. So that's from the 42-yard line. Play a short field. They need 30 yards for that kind of an attempt. Pass is there. 38-yard line. Gain of 7. Second down. Tony Nathan on the receiving end. Jerry Gray with the stop. Incomplete. Is he throwing the ball away?
No, he's not going to throw the ball way in the middle of the zone that way. It seemed that Mark Clayton and Dan Marino were a little mixed up on it. Clayton may have missed the pattern. It seemed that Marino was waiting for Clayton to come across the field, across the formation, but he continued up the field.
Third down and 3. 25 seconds left. Incomplete. Mickey Sutton for the defense. Pruitt could not hold on to it. It'll be 4th down. Now the Rams can load up. They have 20 seconds if they get any kind of a return.
And they do have 3 timeouts remaining. And they are sending Henry Allard back to return the punt. Pruitt should have caught the football. Even if he did not get out of bounds, the Dolphins would have been able to use one of their timeouts. It would have been a first down.
Reggie Roby to kick. And the Rams will send everybody. They got a piece of one earlier. Low snap, he gets it off. And it'll roll to the 21-yard line. 40 yards on the kick. 8 seconds left. Now, did you notice that Allard signaled for the fair catch? Way away from the ball. The reason being, if the kick would have come up short on a fair catch, you can then call for a free kick and go for the field goal attempt with everybody 10 yards off of the line.
That's right, but it is so far away that Lansford would not had any shot at all.
Oh, no, but just in case.
Yeah,
I mean, he went up with it to start.
That's the correct play. At the end of a half or at the end of a game, a punt returner is instructed to call for the fair catch because it does set up that free kick situation. Does not happen very often in the NFL.
No, but every once in a while. Every once in a while. Didn't happen today, of course. But every once in a while.
It's still the end of overtime.
Yes,
still a possibility.
That's right. Rams are going to down the ball here. Don't take a chance. Good move. And we're in overtime. We're tied at 31-31. So we go to sudden death. And of course, as you know, the team scoring first anyway, winning. And if there's no score in 1 quarter of play, and then it officially goes in the book as a tie, there'll be a 3-minute intermission. There'll be the toss of a coin, and then everybody gets 2 timeouts.
Now this will, looking at the playoff picture, now the San Francisco 49ers have a tie. This will throw the whole kit and caboodle out of kilter. We've got to reevaluate this entire thing. This, of course, if the Rams win today, they win the division. If they lose today, it sets up the confrontation in the West between both the Rams and the 49ers on Friday night for the title. But in the case of a tie, what happens?
We will chase that information down.
Your choice. Please call it in the air. He called heads. It's heads. Your choice. You want the ball? We'll take the ball. We'll take the ball.
Dwight Stevenson with the best call of the day.
Chose to receive. We'll play in 3 minutes.
We're headed for overtime. We're tied 31-31, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Have either a win or a loss here this afternoon, so that the confounding of the playoff picture becomes easier for us.
This is now final. Kansas City has defeated the Raiders 20-17, and that means that the Raiders are out, and it also means that the Jets are in the playoffs. Kansas City with the final we just gave you. Fourth quarter, Seattle leading San Diego by 10. You know, if Seattle hadn't had that slump, if and buts were candy and nuts, you know that story. Houston leading by 16-10. Every day with Christmas is the end of that line. Yeah? Now we're tied here at 31-31, and Miami will have the first offensive crack. Craig Ellis and Mike Kozlowski are set for the return, and we're underway in overtime. Ellis to the 10, the 15, 20, 25-yard line, and there are no flags. Something that you immediately check on all kickoff returns now. Cliff Thrift, formerly with San Diego and the Chicago Bears, where he picked up a Super Bowl ring last year, is the man who made the tackle for the Rams. Bob, psychologically in overtime from a quarterback standpoint, do you change your, do you stay with the same thing?
I think you do what's best, but I think the advantage here is to the Rams because the ball is in Dolphin territory and a turnover could end the game, so ball position and field position is very important.
Pass is complete left side. This is Ron Davenport, and he's out to the 33, so he has 8, and it'll be second down and 2 as Carl Eckert and Nolan Cromwell make the tackle.
The Dolphins shuttling in plays now with their tight ends. Dan Johnson comes in for Bruce Hardy. The play from the sideline.
Second and 2. Here's Davenport. First down to the 40, to the 50, to the 40, inside the 35-yard line, 32-yard line. 34 yards. Johnny Johnson saved the touchdown.
Now watch the crunching block up top by Lorenzo Hampton. Not really a crushing block, but he does push the defensive linebacker Mike Wiltshire out of the way, allowing Hampton to get down the sideline. Excuse me, that's Davenport. Watch Shula and his reaction as Davenport is going down the sideline.
A little shuffle along the sideline to help him along the way. Davenport with the key play in overtime. Incomplete. Almost intercepted. Duper. Shula wants a face mask call. Leroy Irvin was there. They've been picking on him all afternoon.
Just that quick slant pattern that the Dolphins run so very often and are so successful with. It was a little bit behind Duper, and there you see the question of Shula's face mask may be true.
Yes, he had a couple of fingers on his face mask.
Of course, that one of the 26 penalties that does not come under the scrutiny of the replay official.
Does not fall into the venue of the replay official. Juan Revez. Second and 10. Replay. Rams are in the neutral zone. It is intercepted by Mickey Sutton, but the flags could well nullify the interception. And of course, as a quarterback, you know, Bob, when you've got that free play and you can gamble.
Well, that's true, Charlie, and as we see the offsides on the Rams, and he knew he had it. He also had a man breaking free downfield, and I think what he's intending to do right now.
Number 91 on the defense, still second down.
It's Kevin Green.
He just wants to play it cautiously and get his team into field goal position. He wouldn't have thrown that ball had he not had the flag.
Going to be 2nd down and 5 at the 27-yard line. Reveiz has hit from 18 yards in this ball game. He is at 12 of 20 on the year. Lots of time. 22-yard line. It's Davenport. And Eckern for the defense. We're going to have timeout for a measurement. That was 2nd and 5. Now you're within field goal range. You're talking about a 40-yard field goal. Do you take any more chances, or do you kick it?
No, I think you go a little bit closer. 40 yards is a position that you don't want to put your kicker in this spot. If it's 3rd and short, it was not good enough for the first down.
Let's see. No, it was.
No, it was. It is a first down for the Dolphins. So I think you go through another series. You try to go, as Bob said, with the safe passing, the short passing game. Don't make any mistakes. Throw the football away if you decide to go ahead and throw it, and give Reveiz a little bit more room to allow him to kick the field goal.
Marino 28 of 45 for 383 yards. Seattle defeats San Diego. That's now final by 10, 34-24. We're in overtime here at 31-31. Lorenzo Hampton to the 20-yard line. And we're having an early exchange of Christmas greetings. Happy holiday.
And that could be devastating to a team to get a penalty such as that. It was Dellenbach and Gray going at it for the Dolphins and for the Rams. But you get a penalty in that situation. If it's you offensively, you take your team out of field goal position. And if it's against the defense, you set them up for a winning field goal. Really not an intelligent play on part of the players.
We're moving on the 3-minute mark, time into overtime. 2nd and 8. Into the end zone. It is Duper. Touchdown. Mark Duper, his 3rd touchdown reception. Dan Marino, 5 touchdown passes. The Dolphins do it in overtime. 37-31. Duper, 5 receptions, 145 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
So that sets up the contest next week between the Rams and the San Francisco 49ers for the Western Division Championship in the NFC.
Dan Marino, 29 of 46, 403 yards, and here is his 5th touchdown.
It's the same play the Dolphins hooked on earlier. They once again are picking on Irvin in the corner of the end zone. A great catch by Duper. He had to take it up off the top with his hands and still put off the beating from Irvin, and he goes in for the score. The reaction of Don Shula and the Dolphins.
3 minutes and 4 seconds into overtime. It is Miami 37, Los Angeles 21. A 75-yard touchdown drive. We'll be back in just a moment to Anaheim Stadium.
It's a real
play. It has to be, of course. It is Dan Marino. And Budweiser will be making a little contribution to the United Way on behalf of all of the MVPs selected this season. Again, his numbers 29 of 46, 403 yards, 7th time he's been over 400 yards, 5 touchdown passes. Ken Edmondson, our producer, Andy Rosenberg, our director, an impressive showing by Miami.
It was at 8-7. They needed a performance today, but the problem is it puts the Rams in the position of having to win next week at San Francisco, as I mentioned earlier, to try and win the NFC Western Division title.
Bob Greasy, your impression?
I'm very impressed with the way the Dolphins, they have not played well on the West Coast, and the Rams needed this game. The Rams have to win Friday night against the 49ers to make the playoffs.
Now, we're still juggling numbers, but we believe, possibly, that Miami is